I do not have Muslims and Jews. My people are only Moroccans. King Mohammed V, King of Morocco. Morocco, or the second land of the Jews. The country with the largest Jewish community in the entire Arab world. How possible it is for Israel to be established on its land instead of Palestine. If Herzl, the first Zionist leader, had not been surprised that Jews live there next to Muslims in peace and security, and Jews can go there from Israel every year. Prove it, it could turn into a Jewish state in the middle of Muslim countries and pose a danger to Arabs and Muslims in the entire Arab world. Friend of the viewer, if you want to know the secret of the presence of Jews in an Islamic country like Morocco and how this issue started and how the kings of Morocco defend Moroccan Jews, then you must follow today's video with us until the end. But before we start, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel and interact with the bell button to receive all that is new. Citizens, in these circumstances, the Jews of Morocco, my friend, are the oldest sects on the Islamic land of Morocco. But the issue of the Jewish presence in Morocco is a controversial issue. And the most controversial question in this subject is, are the first Jews in Morocco descended from foreign origins? Or are they of local origin and belong to Moroccan lands? Look, my friend, some historical sources prove that the first Jewish sect in Morocco did not belong to the Amazigh, and that they arrived in Morocco about 28 centuries ago, meaning before the destruction of the first temple in 586 BC, and this means that the Jewish presence in Morocco is characterized by antiquity, and there are historical sources that confirm this, because researchers found stones in the city of Tangier and Fez placed by Joab, son of Zeruiah, commander of King David's army. When he entered Morocco and the group of the first Jews, they were distinguished by some characteristics, such as that they spoke Amazigh, and it resembles the Amazigh in lifestyle, customs, and traditions, but differs from them in practicing religious rituals. But Ibn Khaldun believed that the first Jews in Morocco were a mixture of Canaanite and Phoenician peoples who came from Palestine. He said that some of them came from the Himyarite kingdom. It was mentioned in the sources that the first beginning of the Jews in Morocco was due to the escape of the Jews from Palestine. After the Romans destroyed Jerusalem, excavations near the city of Fez, and did not prove the existence of Amazigh tribes with the Jewish religion dating back to the 2nd century BC, and there are other historians who stirred controversy when they said that the Jews were originally from the indigenous people of Morocco, because they believed that the Jews originally did not convert to Judaism. Although all these accounts agree that the presence of Jews in Morocco is very old. But my friend, the larger presence of the Jewish community in Islamic Morocco began to increase very significantly due to the migration of Jews to Morocco after that. After the Islamic conquest of Morocco, the Jews there began to live in peace and great tolerance due to the laws of Islamic law that preserve freedom of worship and religious practices. And for this reason, the persecuted Jews from all over the world began to migrate to Morocco in the hope of salvation and safety. And I found one of the most important of these migrations was the migration that occurred after the fall of Andalusia in 1492. So the presence of Muslims there ended with the fall of the city of Granada, and the city of Granada fell. The last of its kings, Abu Abdullah the Younger, signed a surrender treaty with the Catholic kings, Frederick and Isabella, and thus the Islamic Caliphate there ended. During this period, thousands of Muslims and Jews left and went to many countries, the most important of which was Morocco, fleeing from being forced to convert to Christianity and from the massacres of killing, slaughter, and torture known as the Inquisition, which are still in museums in France, preserving the means of its implementation. Another part of the Jews at that time, estimated at 120,000 Jews to Portugal, but there they faced a tragic fate and were expelled from Portugal in the worst way. So they were forced to flee to Morocco, and at that time, my friend, Morocco received the Jews fleeing the massacres with all tolerance alongside the Muslims in peace and harmony. The Jews were destined to settle in Morocco and merge with the Berber tribes there, and they have a strong religious presence. And my friend, let me talk to you about the religious identity of the Jews of Morocco. The Jews of Morocco are characterized by religiosity and commitment to the beliefs of the Revolution and the Talmud, to the point that the Jews in Morocco have about 652 holy clergymen. and they have more than 50 Jewish Moroccan religious celebrations. And these religious celebrations are called Hilula, and a large number of Jews from around the world come to Morocco every on these religious holidays and occasions to perform Hajj, and over time, Moroccan Jews have become an authentic component of the cultural, social, and religious fabric of Morocco, and their presence is part of the country's history in various cultural, social, economic, and religious aspects. And as we said, they were able to integrate with the people of Morocco from the Berbers and Arabs, and the places where the Jews resided in Morocco were called Mela. The history of naming the first Jewish neighborhood Mela in the city of Fez, the capital of Morocco, dates back centuries to this area Mela, because salt was collected and stored in it to be exported through trade caravans, and then this name was generalized to all Jewish communities in Morocco and the language of Moroccan Jews. Their literature and music is known for its richness and great depth, and the language of Moroccan Jews differs from one region to another. The Moroccan Jewish language is a dialect different from the dialect of Arab Moroccans, and it is still preserved in the arsenals of those descended from Morocco. And the Jewish immigrants from Spain speak the language of my story. And what a dialect of the language that has no religion. As for the Jews of the Moroccan mountains, they speak dialects branching from the Atlantic Berber dialect. But most Moroccan Jews speak French fluently. See my friend in the era of the Alawite state between 1664 AD and 1672 AD, the status of Moroccan Jews flourished to the point that Moulay Rashid, who is the actual founder of the Alawite state, was nicknamed the Friend of the Jews. Moreover, Mala Ismail surrounded his court with a large number of Jews, such as Yusuf Mimran and Musa bin Attar. It also appeared during the same period a large number of important news and rabbis, such as Yehud bin Attar and Yaqub bin Sur, and there was none other than Sultan Moulay Yazid, who ruled from 1790 AD to 1792 AD, who mistreated the Jews of Morocco and wove around him many stories about his torture of 10 Jews in his time during a bitter period. But his reign did not last long. What my friend begins to gain in Morocco is the status of dhimmis, and that's why. Muslims did not attack them there, and they treated them kindly and did not interfere in their internal affairs, whether religious, legal, jurisprudential, or judicial, meaning they had their own independent lives. And because the Jews were dhimmis in Morocco, they had protection and security for their lives and money, and they were also defended against enemies, and it was forbidden to enslave them. All of this in exchange for the jizya that was only taken from those who were able to fight from among the non-Muslims. Some Jewish researchers praised the positive status of dhimmis in Morocco and said that because of this situation, the Jews had self-rule, administrative and cultural, and they had their own system, and they also had their own courts and financial management. This situation preserved the right of the Jews and their followers in Morocco to religion, care, education, and the application of personal status law, in addition to their legitimate rights among themselves. The Jewish community also had a regulatory authority that obligated its members to pay taxes and public interests. Jewish researchers considered that this treatment was very fair and tolerant compared to what happened to Jews in Christian countries. The Ashkenazim, although this situation of the dhimmis was a very fair one, and allowed the Jews to live in safety and tolerance with the Muslims in Morocco, a large portion of the Jews of Morocco tried to take advantage of their relationship with the sultans in order not to pay the tribute, and they were also trying to take rights. The situation of the dhimmis prevented them, such as, for example, their joining important positions that had an influence on the majority of Muslims. History has recorded many situations in which the Jews tried not to pay the tribute. Moreover, when they engaged in important jobs in Morocco,